The Oklahoma City Thunder select Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga University.
What a pass. Giddy underneath for JRE. The reverse and the rookie-to-rookie action. SGA defended closely by Westbrook. Tough. Step back. Gets up the shot. Banks it in for the lead.
This is Udart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast, coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, the evening of, what is today, Saturday?
Saturday, new day, same hotel room.
Same hotel room. Saturday, July 8th, after a day at NBA Summer League once again. This time we got to see the Thunder play. I'm your host for the evening, Jacob Niffen. I've got Justin Peabody with me.
Hello, everybody.
We've got Nick Crane.
Maybe share a mic with TP and call me first when he's holding the mic.
Sorry.
That's bad podcasting.
And we've got Tayler Peterson.
Teamwork. And also, you can just refer to me as Josh Giddey's new best friend.
I will do that. We'll ask Josh about that, see what he has to say. We watched the OKC Thunder play the Dallas Mavericks in Summer League today. Thunder come out victorious 91-80. Really fun game. We got to see the debut of one Cason Queso is what I'm going to go with.
Do we need to address this?
Let's do it.
Allegedly, a new pronunciation. It was in the official, I guess, pronunciation guide for Summer League.
Which homeboy that announces Summer League needs the official pronunciation
He needs some
guide.
more instructions. Last night in the Hornets game, we got Boo Night, Bow Night, Book Night, Boke Night. Like
And then we got Rupert over and over for Rupert.
Yeah, not great.
It's like if I were in charge of Summer League announcements.
This is true. If Taylor was manning the MC. I felt very firmly that I was going to stick with Cason until today. We heard through the grapevine that the official Thunder broadcasts are probably going to call him Cason. So the official stance of the Uncontested is that it's Cason Wallace. Yes.
Is that what we're going with?
Till we hear differently.
Till we hear different next week.
If we podcast about the Thunder and the Thunder call him Cason,
That's right.
then I think we should call him
I
Cason.
think that's
I think
what
that's
we
fair.
have to do.
But the man looked at us and said, it's pronounced Cason.
Now, technically, he told you all that his mother calls him Cason.
We are not his mother. So
That is true. Everyone at Kentucky called him Cason. Guess we're just going Cason. That's 3 minutes of the Cason debate. We will see you next time on the Uncontested. No. We got the debut of Cason today. It was fun.
really fun.
We also, quick little aside before we dive into the game. The Thunder sent us with some swag to give out. We ran into a ton of Thunder fans at Thomas and Mack today. Gave out a ton of stuff, some t-shirts, some lanyards, some keychains, stickers, all kinds of stuff. So if you were out today and caught us at Thomas and Mack, thanks for coming through. Hope you enjoy your stuff. We may have some more stuff we're giving away.
Dun, dun, dun.
Tomorrow when we go live from the Blue Wire studio in the Wynn Resort. So be on the lookout for that.
And specifically for our streaming audience, keep a lookout for that.
Yeah, make sure you hop on the stream tomorrow morning. Let's dive into the game. Starters tonight. I'm going to look over Justin's shoulder here. Trey Mann, Cason Wallace, Jay Will, Chet Holmgren, Usman Jang, which was a really, really fun lineup. Again, Thunder win 91-80. Typically on post games, we hit like 5 big takeaways, big ideas. So I'm throwing it up to the group. Where do you guys want to start?
Spicy queso.
That was my idea, and then Justin stole the spicy queso tweet.
And made it better.
He did make it better.
I said, what did I just sit down at Ted's at Escondido? Because the queso is piping hot. Queso comes out, was it 5 of 6 from 3 that he started?
15 points in the first half, 5 of 6 from 3.
Golly.
That'll do.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
I'm sure Chip England, who we saw today, was over there just grinning ear to ear.
I think Chip England probably understands the game well enough to know that the 35-36% clip he shot at Kentucky was a grain of salt. for the reasons we've talked about. He was
Yep.
40 to 45% almost the entire season till that late stretch where it kind of fell off. So,
And during that late stretch, he was hurt.
so I think if anything, tonight proves, for giving a big picture with this game takeaways, while he can be an on-ball facilitator when he needs to off the bench, which he probably will come off the bench, we all agree, to start the season. He can be
Until Lou's traded.
Oh, I shouldn't have given you the mic.
Spicy Tayler.
I'm no longer giving you the mic unless I know what you're going to talk about first.
Got to write it out and get it approved.
I think
Got to
that
go through the chain.
that's what makes him so special, though, is there's a variety of ways he can impact the game. If it's the lead facilitator off the bench, he can do that. He's a good passer. If he's this off-ball guard that honestly plays the Isaiah Joe role, sit out there and hit knockdown threes, like, it's one game, but he proved he can do that.
One summer league
game. If it's nothing to do with offense at all, if it's a 4-point game, but he locks down someone at the other end or gets 4 steals or is disruptive, like, his impact is wide and vast and diverse. And that is what makes him special. And I'll guarantee you he'll be that player that night to night, it's not going to be this, like with Isaiah Joe, we're like, that guy might make 6 threes tonight. With Cason, it's going to be something different every night that we can point to. That's like, that's where he contributed.
Definitely. And my big takeaway from him today was more that he doesn't force anything. He's the epitome of let the game come to you. He was like at 1 point 4 or 5 and walked up, and I was like, dude, if that's me, I'm pulling that thing. And he walks up and then runs the dribble handoff with Jay Will and moves the ball and cuts. And I mean, just everything was just so in the flow. He never forced. I think all of his threes were catch and shoots besides the half court heave, which was awesome. He let out a big old smile after that too, which was really cool. He just fits. He's a guy. He's one of those guys that you can take and you can put on one of 30 NBA teams, and he'll just fit in and he'll make it work.
And how many starters can you say that about now?
For the Thunder? Yeah.
Or starting caliber players, I should say.
Yeah. Josh, I don't think counts in that because he's so unique.
Dub.
But Dub is definitely. Chet definitely.
Cason.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome. I thought he can't ask for a better debut from him.
Agreed. I love what you mentioned there, Jacob. You actually mentioned, that was the first thing you mentioned about Case. I mean, other than us just getting excited after every 3-point shot, but he was like probably 5 or 6 at this point. I thought you brought up that point about he's very decisive with the basketball, and it just lets the game come to him. I think there's such a fine line, especially for young players, right? That are. Oh, thanks, Siri. I was wondering what time it was. There's a fine line between letting the game come to you as a player and also being a little too hesitant with the basketball, like we've seen with some current players on this Thunder squad. And I thought Cason does a fantastic job of being able to get others involved, but knowing when it's time to take his shot as well. And it was really impressive.
I think you all hit on it. The passing was a really nice addition. Like, obviously the 3-pointers stand out. That was the highlights that were going around, was of him hitting shots. But I thought his passing ability, finding guys, finding cutters, finding Chet. Like, Chet has struggled to get the ball in the post because it seems like a lot of guys just can't get good
entry passes.
Yeah, entry passes to Chet. And he had a couple today that were like right on the money in a good spot versus a guy like Trey Mann, who it seemed like every time Chet was backing down his defender in the lane, Trey couldn't find him. And it felt like Queso was having an easier time doing that today. Again, in very limited minutes. I think the more you see him play with these guys, he's going to get a lot more comfortable with that. But the touch was nice.
Definitely. And the first 2 plays that Queso made was poking the ball out from Jaden Hardy and then ripping down an offensive rebound on the other end. Those hustle type plays, he's going to be all over the Thunder love the clip, like the hustle plays, the taking the charges, the fighting for a rebound, the diving on the floor for the ball. That's Cason. Like, that's like his game
To a T.
He's going to be all over like those promotional Thunder together, like intro videos, you know?
He's going to be the one like getting helped up off the court. players reaching down, helping him up.
Yeah, after he dives for a loose ball or something like that.
Yeah, not completely off the court. Let's hope he's not getting injured. But defensively, that was one of the first things that stood out to me is he's not very tall, like watching him in warmups and stuff in comparison to Us specifically. Obviously not tall, but watching him when he's in his defensive stance, guarding Jaden Hardy, that wingspan is insane. Those arms are long, and he's strong. So he's able to stay in front of defenders. And like you mentioned, Jacob, get those deflections and steals.
Definitely. Any other thoughts on Queso? We're ready to move on. We kicked off. Was it Justin that kicked us off with Cason? So where do you guys want to go next?
I mean, Chet's the low-hanging fruit and was really exciting. Very slow start for Chet in the first quarter. Actually gets not benched. I mean, he was resting, but then comes back in later in the first and immediately had a big impact. I think 5 straight points. I'm trying to remember. I think one was a 3, and then maybe the other one was a put-back dunk. So 7 straight points. And
then he had the alley-oop.
And the alley-oop.
From Butler.
Yeah, he's a guy that I don't know if I don't think you can take anything from like summer league rotations or minutes, but I do like the way that Cam Woods used him in like starting a quarter with him, subbing him out halfway through, and then putting him in. It was like the 3-minute mark. He came in almost every quarter. And I have notes on my phone somewhere, but I was tracking like what he did in those last 3 minutes. The first quarter, it was the 7 points, like Tayler mentioned. I think it was quarter 3. He came in and had a block, 2 offensive boards, and 2 or 3 trips to the line just in that last 3 minutes. And it's like, if you can have a guy that can come in, because closing the quarters is huge. It's a momentum thing. Opening quarters is also huge. But I think if you can have a guy that can come in and do that regularly in a bunch of different ways, like the theme here, Cason, Chet, etc., like there's not just like this one calling card. This guy does this. And I think he showed a lot of things to close quarters in this game.
Definitely. He ends the night 16 points on 5 of 10 shooting. Only 1 of 4 from 3. The jumper's still just a little short. That's just like a legs thing.
And he to be fair, he mentioned that post game too. Someone asked, like, what are the things that you still feel like you're getting back? And he of course gave the Chet answer of like, I feel like me, I'm always me. But he was like, if there was anything that I'm still trying to get back, it's the shot. And that's like you said, legs, it's conditioning, it's a foot injury. So when he was shooting balls 6 of the last 9 months, it was like with the boot or
stationary, not really
shooting.
Jumping.
So but to that point, maybe we pivot to this a little bit. In Utah, I think he shot 3 threes over 2 games, shot 4 tonight, so the volume was up.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't go in, obviously, and you struggle from the free throw line too. You could tell conditioning was a bit of an issue there, but the willingness to do that, I think, is a sign that he's getting back to being more comfortable taking those shots.
Definitely. So 16 points, 5 of 10 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, 5 of 8 from the line, 8 trips. Jumps out to me way more than missing 3 of them. That's huge. 10 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, and a plus 14 on the night. I really love the chances that we got to see him go up against Derek Lively. I thought that was really fun.
That's something else I love about Chet. He will jaw. I remember, I think it was the first quarter after he had come back in. I think this was during the 7-point barrage. He's sitting there on the left wing, and he starts to work a little bit. He hasn't done any crossovers or anything. He starts dribbling. He looks right at Derek Lively, who's guarding him, and is just jawing at him. Then he does like a little crossover between the legs, gets by him. And then, of course, something we can mention is his handle's still a little loose, I think. Conditioning and a little rust there as well. But he gets by Lively, and then somebody else came up and stole the ball. But that was just one specific instance. I mean, he's not one to back down from the challenge. Yeah.
Not shy at all. This is my first time ever seeing him play in person. TPU too, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And that was the stuff, like the stuff you don't see on a broadcast was the stuff that I was most interested to watch. I get it. Like nobody's seen him play a lot. It's only been summer league, but I think seeing some of that mentality of how he conducts himself, seeing how he reacted to, when he made a mistake, like the competitiveness of like kind of being like, and like that stuff coming through that you don't always catch on the TV cameras.
What was that
I thought was really
play
cool.
that Jacob mentioned to you and I, Justin? I can't remember now.
So, and Nick maybe got the best view of this. I mentioned it. We haven't talked to Nick about the game. This is our first time getting Nick's thoughts on the game today, which I love. He had the chase down block that he just like pinned it on the glass. It was sick. Dallas got the offensive rebound and somebody put up a shot. and Chet went to box out Derek Lively and like put a whole forearm and shoulder in the dude's chest. Like I heard it where we were at. Just like, I mean, it was almost like he lowered his shoulder and like tried to truck the dude and like banged him out of the way. And I was like, that's what people love about this dude. Like he don't care. He's going to try to do that against Joel Embiid. It's probably not going to go over as well, but like he doesn't care. He's just the epitome of got the dog in him.
Yeah, I think he's self-aware. It's another thing he talked about post-game. I think Gallo asked that about that exact play, and he's like, I know that I'm not a big guy. Like I have to go out there and intentionally be physical to like get to the same level as some of the guys that are stronger. That's the perfect example. Like he could have very easily, boxing out's not fun. If you ever played basketball, no one likes, maybe Jacob, because he's kind of this weird, like,
wow.
He likes to do the little things to.
He's our own Kenny Hustle.
He is. But boxing out's not fun. And it's like, it's a taxing thing on your body. And Chet, like, I think he knows he's going to have to be the guy that is super physical when boxing out and do things like he did.
Two things that jumped out to me offensively. My first time probably seeing it live. The pump fake is real, dude.
Dude, yes. That, like, I've been resisting calling out anything to do with Wemby because it's not a fair comparison. But, like, the difference in how they approach the game, again, the world's tiniest sample size in a meaningless summer league game. But the way that Chet plays, like, could not be more different from Wemby. Like, everybody loves to make those comparisons, but they're such vastly different players. And watching Chet utilize that pump fake and the confidence that he does it with, that's what sells it. Like if you're not believing in the pump fake, everybody knows it's a pump fake. But the way he goes up with it and the way that he's already commanding the respect from behind the arc to sell it is huge.
Well, a lot of guys when they pump fake, it looks nothing like their jumper.
Right.
With his, if you were to take a synergy compilation of all of Chet's pump fakes and cut them off before you can actually see if he finishes, and then have another synergy clip of when he actually takes threes and you like put them together and had to play a guessing game. Maybe we should do that. It'd be kind of fun.
That would be kind of fun.
Like it would be really hard because his pump the load up is so similar, and that's what is tough for defenders.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he loves the spin move.
Loves
he
the
and
spin
Josh,
move.
they love the spin move.
And that first step, like between the legs move, and then he goes into that spin move when he gets back, when he tries to back somebody
It's like
down.
me playing 2K, just mashing the B button over and over.
Like once the handle gets tighter, it's going to be a weapon. I mean, and he had one move today in the lane against Derek Lively where he like drove in, picked up his dribble, hit like 3 or 4 different pivots, and then went up and under on him and finished like with a finger roll. That was just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. The skill really pops, I think.
And it was fun to get to see him, speaking of the skill, get to see him bring the ball up the floor multiple times. And then also, like, maybe on the next possession, you see him playing a true 5 type position and flashing up to the high post, obviously setting a lot of different screens for every ball handler. He's extremely versatile, and I could just see today this Thunder coaching staff trying to put him in multiple situations offensively and defensively.
Question on that topic. We saw Chet play a lot of minutes with Jay Will. Like Chet started at the what you'd call a 4.
Before you move on real quick, those minutes with Jay Will, specifically playing the 4, and they had Jay Will guarding the big.
Yes. And then there's a lot of minutes where Chet was the true 5. And I think there's a lot of that's developmental. Like see what you got. Yeah. And frankly, if he's going to play 4 in the season, it probably will be a lot of Jay Will he's playing with. What did you see in both scenarios that you liked or didn't like, or anything that popped where it's like, as of today, if this was a play-in game today and you had to play Chet, like what do you like as of today?
I liked way more him as the lone big on the floor. Him playing the 4, I feel like pulls him away from the paint defensively. Doesn't let him roam as much. He's not defending. The dude defends the pick and roll incredibly. Like he plays drop, but he doesn't drop real deep. And Royce Young had a great tweet about it today where he said he just eats up the empty space in the pick and roll. He doesn't really let the ball handler get to the pull up, but he doesn't let the roller get behind him for a pass or a lob. He's so intentional about where he is. Defensively, I like him so much more as a 5. And if you're going to put him out there with another quote unquote big, I think that other guy should be playing 4.
I agree. And speaking of that ability to cover up that space, I mean, you mentioned intention and being intentional with that, but he's intentional with using the length that he has. I mean, it really, like I mentioned, Cason getting in that defensive stance and being in person, how impressive that was to see that wingspan. Very similar with Chet in a completely different way. When he hedges, to your point, Jacob, quickly shuffles back, and like his arms are like from the top of the key down into the, not the paint, but very, very long. And I mean, that allows him to be able to cover those passing lanes.
That's the other thing you just notice about him in person is the length. We had really good seats today. The length just
Jumps off the page.
Really shows.
It again, to make the Wemby comparison, like you can just tell that Chet is more comfortable with his body at this point and like controlling it.
Mm-hmm.
Wemby still has a little bit of the like baby deer to him that you see a lot more from Poku, right? Like we've seen that where it just kind of seems like he's still kind of getting used to being that large. Chet feels like he can take control of it a little bit. You still get moments, right? Like he still fell down quite a few times. Some of that seems like the floor that Thomas and Mac might be very slippery.
I about threw up.
Dude, awful. But it just in general, like the way he conducts himself, whether it's the spin moves, whether it's going at guys, the way he uses that length is very impressive.
Yes, agreed. Any more stuff on Chet? All right, let's take a quick break. On the other side, we'll finish up kind of wrapping up our thoughts on this game and what to expect moving forward. All right, we are back. So Justin brought up Cason. Tayler took us to Chet. So Nick, where are we going next?
Do you want a player or do you want like a theme or
I want whatever you
take
want,
away?
baby.
Jeez.
Let's go with Us.
Okay.
I'll kick off with a couple initial thoughts and I'll see if you guys...
Can I give a stat line before you
Yeah.
go? 13 points, 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, only 2 turnovers.
So you still see, I've harped on this for a long time, like the feet are so slow. And you saw that a couple of times today where like he wanted to make this play or this pass and he just like couldn't get himself in the situation to do it. On the flip side, another concern is like shot quality and efficiency. Like the 1 of 11 to start Salt Lake City, and then like the 4 of 10, 4 of 12 the next game. Game 3 was awesome. It was like 10 of 10 to start. Tonight, also efficient. So for him, seeing the shot fall is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think Summer League's a situation where his size can be leveraged better because he's not playing the best athletes in the world, or like every guy that can handle the ball is 6'8", 6'9". So seeing him take advantage of that's great. So I think for Us in general, like if we were going to do a stock up, stock down, like the last couple of games, maybe if we're really, really good about maybe not being a key piece of the rotation this season, but like from a developmental standpoint, like
Progress.
He's on track.
Yeah. Maybe it's just seeing him in person versus seeing on TV. I felt like there was a little more physicality, especially in rebounds today. Really getting in there, mixing it up. But again, that could be an in-person thing versus a TV thing.
You can tell he's trying to be more physical and more aggressive. Like there was a play today where he like intentionally tried going into a guy with his shoulder and it like ended up like tripping or something because he went a little too hard. So like the fact that he's trying, you have to appreciate.
We've talked on this podcast a lot. Physicality is 90% a mental state, right? So that's, I think, a huge step for him.
I liked a lot of what we saw from Us today. And I had a tweet, I think that last Salt Lake City game, Nick, you mentioned how he played a little more efficient there, but it seemed like those first 2 games he was trying to do a little too much. And it was just the small things that he was doing in Salt Lake City that were really impressive. I mean, he's cutting back door, making the right reads, not trying to do too much with the ball in his hands or forcing shots, kind of like you were getting at. And I saw a lot of the same today, but with a little more aggression, I think, to what both of you were getting at. Like, for example, some of those putback dunks were nasty. He had a great alley-oop finish, but then also had like some really nice passes down low, playing as like the other quote-unquote big alongside Chet, which is really good to see. We saw some playmaking flashes from Us, which I think is really important if he's going to continue to grow and develop within this Thunder organization. That will allow him to play alongside Chet's as another big, or playing on the wing with a J-Dub and Shea, for example. So I'd like to see that continue to improve. But I think he's just kind of gone back to the quote-unquote basics these past 2 games, which has been huge for him. Is giving him some more of that confidence that you alluded to, Nick.
I think it's his decisiveness for me. Is he doesn't look like he's trying to think about what he's supposed to do next. He just does it. And whether that's shooting a 3 when he's open, whether that's making a pass, whether that's rotating on defense, like he seems more comfortable knowing where he's supposed to be, like the game's slowing down a little bit. And I think that's a big leap for Us. Whereas so much of last year, what we saw is, yes, slow foot speed from a physical standpoint, but I think like the mental side of it as well, of just not reacting as quickly as you would hope. I think it's starting to look like he's settling in a little bit on that side of things. That's allowing him to be more decisive, and I think leading to the confidence that you're talking about, Tayler. Really good stuff for Moose.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction, right? He's just got to keep progressing, keep moving forward. I thought we saw some nice things today. I thought the shot specifically, I think, is looking really nice. Really nice. So I guess my turn. I'll finish us up before we should hit some comments before we get out here, definitely. The Thunder's other rookie, Keyonte Johnson, got some burn today. Played how many minutes? 19, 7 points, 2 of 5 from the field, 6 rebounds, an assist, plus 12 on the night. Shot 4 free throws. Dude is physical. He can get up a lot higher than I thought he could. That alley-oop from Cason
was nasty.
Keyonte was pretty gross.
So fun.
He in college was like at K-State. He wasn't as much at Florida from what I remember. He was like this, like the shortest, best lob threat in the country. Like if you go back and watch some of his stuff at K-State, it was like you'd think this dude's like an Obi Toppin, like a 6'9", 6'10", like short corner, the short corner lob threat. But he's a 6'5", like guard size dude that gets up so quick and puts it down so hard.
Yeah,
it was
crazy.
crazy.
The alley-oop today was awesome. Excited to see him play. Not really a whole lot to take away from. We already know he's going to be a two-way guy. I think he's going to spend a lot of time in the G League. I mean, if I had to bet, I don't think he's getting converted up to a regular contract, considering this team has 21 guys on the roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I thought what we saw from him was good, and he's got good building blocks to move forward, and he's definitely got an NBA-ready body.
And he's a very good rebounder, and we saw that today.
Mm-hmm.
But six boards in less than 19 minutes. Is that right? Yeah, 6 boards. Yeah, that's solid. That translates.
Definitely. Any other Keyonte thoughts?
Just super physical. I mean, it just stands out immediately. And he's also of the same breed of your, not just because of the two-way contract selected later in the draft and or undrafted, but the Lou Dort, the Aaron Wiggins, just willing to do, Kenrich Williams, willing to dive on the floor, go after loose balls. I mean, just another one of those guys that kind of does the, not to use the grit and grind phrase, but for example, we saw Nick Collison down low next to Nazir Muhammad on the baseline, and Nazir kind of looks at him after Jay Will takes a charge and kind of like elbows him a little bit, and Nick's just grinning ear to ear. And like I feel like a player like Keyonte Johnson is a player that would make Nick Collison grin ear to ear like Jay Will.
I feel like they played Keyonte kind of like, again, positionless basketball, yada yada. They were like pull Jay Will and put Keyonte in. So they're kind of playing him as like a de facto big in a way, which I thought was interesting considering 6'5", but the build, Nick, you kind of made last night the Grant Williams type archetype comparison. I'm not saying he's going to be Grant Williams, right? But that archetype, I think that makes a lot of sense. Sweet. Justin, you want to take us through some comments?
I can take us through as many comments as I can.
We don't
want to
talk about
dies.
Daquan Plowden and his 10 minutes and 1 field goal attempt.
No, we do not, Tayler. Alejandro, is Keyonte going to take JRE minutes?
Again, I don't know because, I mean, he's a two-way, so he gets to play some time, but we'll see.
Thanks. We're gonna try to plug this in live on the pod.
I gotta plug in over here, Nick. Hand it over.
Oh boy.
If you're watching the stream,
so
this is
good.
incredible podcasting.
So good. We have Tom in the chat saying, I like the Cheddar and Queso nicknames for Chet and Cason.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Solid. Very solid. We've got A-Man pointing out that Oos just turned 20 like 2 months ago. Compared to some of the guys we saw play today.
I was going to say, Josh Giddey is on the sideline watching his team play and is one of the best young players in the league, like way too good for summer league. And he would have, I mean, this is going to be a spitball. He would probably have been the third or fourth youngest player on the court between either team.
Yeah.
Nick, you and I talk about it all the time. He's going to be so good.
He's going to be really, really good.
He might average like 18, 8, and 8 next year. Something crazy.
It's a lot of eights.
I mean, that's not much more than the average last year.
I know.
Settle down, Jacob. But yeah, I mean, you get a lot of like summer league superstars out there that have been playing for a long time, a long old time. Meek Leak, thanks, buddy. I don't know why can't I highlight your comment. Here we go. Meek Leak says, "Have an amazing weekend, boys. Super jealous. Shout out from Australia and New Zealand. All you guys that are tuning in right now. There's a bunch of people in the stream at a very random time on a Saturday, and we are super appreciative
100%.
because we wouldn't be here without y'all."
And Meek Leak, a plug for you. We were on the bus coming back from NBA Con today talking about the people we met. And 2 or 3 of us said, "Man, I wish we could meet Meek Leak here." So you're one of our
Come on down to
you're
Vegas.
one of our favorite people that keep up with the pod and interact with us, and we greatly appreciate
Not that we have favorites, so we love all of you guys.
That's the teacher and Jacob coming out.
No favorite students.
Connor says, Cason is immediately in my 8 protected expansion.
Oh, no
players."
question.
Definitely.
I think he's. I think if today is any
Okay,
indication,
so what's your 8, Jacob?
oh boy,
Someone asked me this.
If
on
it's
the
immediate, then what is it?
Someone asked me this on the flight because I tweeted out that my flight anxiety was bad, so distract
What
me
is
with
it?
questions.
What is it?
Shay, Josh, Dub, Chet, Queso, Oos, Dort, Alexei Pokushevsky.
Hey, there it is.
Poku.
The Poku stand never quits.
It might be Ty Washington now.
Yeah,
folks.
that's right.
Oh.
That's
That's
a
right.
teaser for tomorrow's episode. Make sure you tune in.
Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, at 10 a.m. Central Time. Thank you, Nick.
I don't know. Shay didn't show up today, and so maybe Ty is Shay's replacement.
Shut
Shay's
up,
being
Tayler.
traded.
Good grief. Let's see. What else do we have here? So many comments. You guys are awesome. Meek asked, "Do you think we see J-Dub in Vegas?" That was confirmed.
Ruled out.
Ruled out. We
Not
thought
happening.
we thought we might get him today. I would have loved it, but instead he was rocking a Detroit Red Wings jersey on the sidelines. We've got Matt saying drafting 4 players last year has sped up the rebuild, and with these trades, Sam is bringing in talent on another level. Patty Mills would have been great, and he's shipped out. I think it's fascinating to see what's happening. We will dive more deeply into some of those details tomorrow, but I think it's impossible to look at this team, and it's everything we've talked about with roster exploration. At some point, these cuts get so hard, and we're there. Like they're already hard.
They
Yeah,
thought cuts were tough with Veet and these other guys. Oof.
Yeah, right.
Also, you mentioned, Matt mentions they drafted 4 guys last year. They drafted 4 guys who can freaking play.
Right.
Do you still want Isaiah Roby?
What about Moses Brown?
You want to hear something?
I heard the
sad
Thunder
about
are
Isaiah?
ridiculous for cutting Moses Brown by a certain podcast.
The New York Knicks are apparently considering Isaiah Roby to be Julius Randle's backup
Yikes.
this season. This upcoming season is what I read.
Interesting.
Because they've-
What are you reading? Fanfic?
Vic in the chat. I'm thinking our second group is going to be one of the best in the NBA. Not a lot of drop off from when the first team sits on the bench.
Hey, somebody asked me this question today. Forget who it was. It might have been our guy, Carey. If you took, like, I tasked you with making the 20, 21 players on the roster, and you had to put them in order of like best player to worst player, and you put best player on team A, worst player, or second best player on team B. third best player on A, and you just back and forth it. And so you split the team in half. Do each of those teams still have like a more positive trajectory than the Charlotte Hornets?
Absolutely not.
Wow. Okay.
No, I mean, I know it's a fun like crap on the Hornets, but no, there's like no. They're
If you
summer
did, I mean,
league
you'd end up
team-
with like Shea, Josh, Cason, like all on one team.
LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Nick Smith. They're just their recent draft class has 4 guys that I would roster on Oklahoma City on the 15-man this year.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
I think it's maybe you would say no, but I think it just goes to show
Oh yeah, you know
how many great prospects are
it's
on this
it's a
team.
great point, and it's like the fact that it's even a conversation is interesting.
Yeah.
But that's like the old could Alabama's football team beat the worst NFL? Like no. Like it's a fun conversation, but no.
That's a good call. I was just going to say, like, to your point, Tony Jones in Salt Lake City's summer league, that Thunder roster, I mean, that's an NBA roster was thrown out there. And we kind of saw that tonight with
Yep.
Cason, Oos,
Yep.
Chet, Jay Will. There was one other. I don't know.
If the Thunder's summer league starting lineup tonight was a team's starting, like a rebuilding team starting lineup on like game 10 of the NBA season, fans of that team would be feeling really good about the positive players they have moving forward. You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that back to that last question you had, this is why the people in the comments were saying that I never have any fun.
That is accurate. No fun, Nick. A-Man in the chat saying a lot of people talk about Cason as a Dort replacer, but I feel like they'd play really well together. I think we've talked about this before, of like the potential lineups for this team can wreak absolute havoc.
And you
on
can change them up
defense.
however you want. You need a
Yeah.
defensive stopping lineup. Cool. You need 5 out. Cool. We can do that. You need big. You need to go small. Whatever, like, pick your poison.
You want to give Lou some rest in the playoffs to guard like the opposing best guard? Throw Cason on him and give Dort some rest. Like it's so it'll be fun to watch them together.
He got that dog in him.
The defense is going to be really good this year, guys.
Going to be really fun. And then you got Chet down low to ruin any chance you have. Dude, there was a moment today where I forget who it was. Somebody for the Mavs got a rebound and like eyes up toward the basket and then saw Chet and did the fastest 180 I've ever seen.
Yep.
And took the ball back. Like the crowd was like heckling him. It was so obvious. It was incredible.
The rim deterrent.
The rim deterrent. We got one more question from Brian. Was Josh Giddey wearing Taylor's fluffy flip-flops today? Taylor, would you like to comment on
Can
Giddey's
neither
footwear?
confirm nor deny. But yeah, he was feeling comfy out there.
Comfy
I
gang.
respect it.
I respect it. I respect it.
It was a Aussie hangout on the baseline over there.
It was. Jack White was down there. I think Jack
Not at the
White
white
makes this
stripes.
roster.
Kyrie Irving on the other side.
Yeah, one of these things is not like the other.
We're talking about Australians.
Yeah, a few of them have their heads on
Touche.
straight though.
Touche.
Is that all for us,
That's
guys?
it. That'll do, Pig.
Awesome. That'll do. Hey, Sunday, 10 p.m. Central, 10 a.m.
Nope,
Central,
nope,
10
10
a.m.
a.m.
Central, 10
10
a.m.
Good grief.
10 a.m. Central.
Sunday's tomorrow, by the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Tomorrow, Sunday, 10 a.m. live from the Wynn Studio.
Don't miss it.
It's going to be
Can
incredible.
we just tell them?
Go for it. I don't know what you want to tell them.
We're gonna give away this flag and maybe more. So if you want this beautiful prop that's been behind us, come to the stream tomorrow.
Yeah, this wasn't like originally in the hotel room. Just for
It
people.
wasn't.
There's like some really bad art underneath it.
Excuse me, we had a swag bag waiting for us from the Thunder when we walked in our hotel room with our
Person,
all access passes.
please don't
and
tell lies on the pod.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on a random Saturday evening. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Time. It's going to be awesome. You're going to want to check out the Wynn Studio. We're going to give away the flag. We're going to have a great time. We'll talk about the trade. We'll talk about the in-season tournament, which we were there live to see it get announced, which was really cool. So much more. So make sure to tune in. Until then, and as always, we will catch you in like 12 hours.
Woo!
Thunder up.